Emma sat by her bedroom window, watching the sun sink below the distant hills. She held an old photograph of her and Lucas, her best friends since childhood. In the picture, they both laughed with their arms around each other, as if nothing in the world could ever come between them. But now Lucas lived far away, across the ocean, in a new city, and Emma felt a hollow ache in her chest. Every day she reached for her phone, hoping to see his name light up her screen, but more often than not, she only saw the empty blue dot of silence. At school, Emma passed the places where she and Lucas used to meet. The old oak tree by the playground still stood tall, its branches swaying in the breeze. She remembered how they carved their initials into its trunk and promised to stay close forever. Now the carving looked faded and lonely, much like her own heart. Other children laughed and played, but Emma felt apart from them. She carried a quiet sadness with her, like a small stone in her pocket. She wondered how she could ever bridge the distance that grew with each passing day. One evening, Emma opened her messaging app and typed a long note to Lucas. She wrote about her day at school, the new book she was reading, and the song she had heard on the radio. She poured out her feelings, admitting how much she missed him and how hard it was to feel so far away. With a trembling finger, she pressed send. The circle spun, and then the app told her the message was delivered. Emma held her breath for a reply, but minutes ticked into hours, and when she finally fell asleep, her phone lay silent beside her pillow. The next morning, Emma felt a weight on her shoulders. She tried to focus on her homework, but her mind drifted back to Lucas. She stared at the phone screen, fingers hovering over the keyboard, unsure what to say next. Every time she tried to call, she heard only the distant hum of a busy line. It seemed Lucas was always busy with his new life, new friends, new school, new routines. Emma worried that he had forgotten the easy smiles and shared secrets of their past. She felt lost and alone, unsure how to reach him through the wall of distance. Late at night, she thought about hope. She remembered stories of explorers who crossed vast oceans and climbed tall mountains simply because they believed they could. She thought about human spirit, how people found ways to connect even when the world tried to keep them apart. Emma closed her eyes and pictured herself as an explorer, setting sail on a sea of memories toward Lucas's new home. In her mind, the miles between them shrank with every heartbeat. She felt a spark of courage ignite inside her, a small flame of hope. The next day, Emma gathered her art supplies and began to draw. She sketched the oak tree where they carved their initials. She added herself and Lucas standing side by side, smiling up at its branches. Around them, she drew birds in flight, carrying messages between the two friends. She painted bright colors: greens for new growth, blues for open skies, and yellows for the warm sun. As she worked, she whispered words of encouragement to herself. We can find a way. We can stay close. We can do this. When the picture was finished, Emma carefully rolled it into a tube and taped a note to the outside. She wrote simply, "For Lucas, from Emma. No matter where we go, I will always be your friend." She tucked the tube into her backpack and took it to the local post office. The clerk smiled when she explained it was going overseas, and he handed her the receipt. Emma pressed her hand to her heart as she walked home, imagining the moment Lucas would open her gift and see her words and drawing. At night, Emma placed her phone on the table and left it charging. She didn't wait for a message. Instead, she lay in bed and thought of all the times she and Lucas had laughed until they cried. She pictured his surprised smile when he saw the oak tree drawing. In her mind, she heard his voice say, "Thank you, Emma. I miss you too." She felt a calm warmth spread through her chest. She realized that distance could not break a bond built on shared memories and genuine care. The next morning, Emma woke with renewed energy. She felt lighter, as if a small burden had been lifted. She knew the gift was on its way to Lucas, and that he would understand how much she still cared. Even if he did not reply right away, she trusted that human kindness and creativity would reach him. In that trust, she found hope that their friendship would survive oceans and cities and time. And in that hope, Emma felt strong, ready to face each new day, knowing that no matter how far Lucas had moved away, he would always be close. To her heart, Lucas stared at the old wooden desk in his small apartment, the one he used to share with Emma whenever she visited. Now it held only his laptop and a stack of school papers. He ran a hand over the smooth surface, remembering the late-night talks they had beneath the stars. He missed her laugh, the way she tilted her head when she told a funny story. A slow ache settled in his chest, and he sighed. He felt a vast ocean of miles between them, not just water. He wondered how he could ever close the gap. Each morning, Lucas woke early to attend classes at his new school. The halls buzzed with unfamiliar faces and strange accents. He studied hard, making good grades and trying to fit in. Yet every time, he laughed with a new friend. A small voice inside reminded him of Emma. His heart tugged him back to their shared adventures, climbing the old oak tree, racing through the meadow, and whispering secrets in the dark. He was proud of his new life, but he felt guilty for enjoying it without her. He opened his laptop and saw Emma's package on the screen. She had sent a drawing, a picture of the oak tree they loved, with 2 birds carrying messages in their beaks. Underneath she had written, "No matter where we go, I will always be your friend." Lucas's heart skipped. He felt tears well up, but they were not sad tears. They were warm with understanding and love. He realized how brave Emma had been, sending hope across the world. He felt a spark of his own courage. Lucas picked up his phone. His finger hovered over Emma's name. He had not called her in days. He worried he had nothing new to say. Yet he remembered how Emma found her strength when she worried he had forgotten her. He could find his own. Ah! He tapped her name and pressed the call button. The line rang. His heart pounded. When she answered, he smiled before she spoke. "Emma," whispered. Her voice sounded bright, even through the crackle. "Lucas, you got it?" She sounded so happy that he felt his own sadness lift. They talked for hours about his classes, her art projects, and the small things that made them laugh. Lucas admitted how lonely he had been at times. Emma listened and encouraged him to join the school art club. He promised to try. Speaking with her felt like finding a hidden path through a forest back to home. After the call, Lucas felt light. He closed his eyes and pictured Emma standing beneath the oak tree. He imagined her smile. Then he opened his computer and laid out his finger over the drawing file. He decided to reply with a message in his own drawing. He sketched their old clubhouse by the stream, shading in the tall grass and the sunlight filtering through the leaves. He added 2 fireflies, symbolizing their friendship glowing even at night. As he drew, Lucas whispered to himself, "We can do this. We are stronger than distance." He thought of how people had once looked up at the stars, sailing across oceans and climbing mountains because they believed in a better future. He believed in that future now, for him and Emma. His hand moved with steady confidence, filling the page with color and light. When his drawing was done, Lucas saved the file and attached it to an email. He wrote a note for Emma. "You never leave my side, no matter how far apart we are." He pressed send. In that moment, he felt hope swell in his chest. He knew she would feel the same warmth he had felt when her gift arrived. He closed his laptop and leaned back, breathing deeply. That night, Lucas took a walk to clear his mind. He passed the city park where he sometimes studied. He sat on a bench and looked at the distant glow of the streetlights. He thought about how light travels far, undeterred by darkness. He compared that to their friendship, bright and steady. He felt proud of himself for taking the first step. He realized that no distance, no new life, and no busy schedule could erase what they shared. The next morning, Lucas woke with a sense of calm joy. He checked his email and saw Emma's reply. She loved his drawing and promised to hang it in her room. She wrote that she felt closer to him already. Lucas smiled, feeling hope in every part of him. He got ready for school with a lighter heart, eager to join the art club and to find new ways to grow. Knowing Emma cheered him on in class, Lucas raised his hand with confidence. After school, he walked to the art room. The teacher welcomed him, and Lucas felt at home among paintbrushes and sketch pads. Thought of Emma waiting on the other side of the world, drawing under her own tree. Imagined how their art would bridge the miles, keeping their bond alive. Lucas knew the road ahead would sometimes feel hard. He would face moments of doubt and loneliness. Yet he felt the strength of humanity's spirit, people reaching out, building connections, and creating beauty even when challenges rose. He carried that spirit with him as he opened his art book and started his first club project. In that simple act, Lucas realized the world was full of hope. He had found his way to reconnect with Emma, and he would keep finding ways to stay close. No matter where life took them, their friendship would shine bright, lighting their paths across any distance. Emma woke early, her heart fluttering with hope. The morning sun poured through her curtains and her phone chimed with a new message. It was from Lucas. She held her breath as she opened it. Inside was his drawing of the old clubhouse by the stream, just as she had sketched the oak tree. He had added 2 fireflies glowing in the grass, and beneath them he wrote, "Your friendship lights my way." Emma felt tears of joy and relief. The miles between them felt smaller in that moment, yet a new feeling stirred. She wanted more than messages. She wanted to bridge the distance in a way that felt real. All day Emma thought about what she could do. She tried to call Lucas on video chat, but their schedules did not match. When she rang his line in the late afternoon, he was at school and could not talk. When she called in the evening, she was already in bed, and he had classes at dawn. Each failed attempt made her chest tighten again. She missed his voice, his smile, did not know how to reach him across the world's time zones. She felt sad, but under that sadness, a spark of determination glowed. She refused to let distance win. Emma remembered how humans once built great machines to reach distant places. She thought of explorers who crossed oceans in tiny boats, of scientists who sent messages to other planets. If they could do that, she could find a way to connect with Lucas. She decided to create a small movie, a digital letter that he could watch anytime. She gathered her phone, her art supplies, and her courage. She planned each scene, a short clip of the oak tree, her sketchbook opening, the drawing she had sent, and then a final scene of her speaking a message of hope. For the next 2 evenings, Emma worked by lamplight. She recorded her voice, speaking slowly and clearly. "Hello, Lucas. Even though we are far apart, I feel you here. I miss your laughter and our late-night talks. I want you to know that no matter how many days go by, I will always be your friend." She filmed her hands tracing the initials carved in the oak tree bark, then panned the camera to her smiling face. She added soft music she composed on her keyboard. Each note was gentle, carrying her feelings across the screen. She edited the clips together, heart pounding with excitement and nervousness. When the movie was finished, Emma saved it as a single file and uploaded it to a private link she created. She wrote an email to Lucas, "I made something for you. Watch it when you have a quiet moment. I hope it brings you a piece of home." She pressed send and closed her eyes. The action felt brave, like stepping onto unknown ground. She imagined the file traveling through the internet, across oceans and mountains, until it reached Lucas's laptop in his new city. In her mind, she saw him watching her video, hearing her voice, feeling her hope. That night, Emma went to sleep with a calm heart. She no longer stared at her phone, waiting for a reply. Instead, she trusted that her gift would speak for her. She knew Lucas would feel her presence through the moving pictures and the music she composed. She felt proud of her effort. She had turned her longing into action. The human spirit, she realized, could do more than dream. It could build bridges out of creativity and faith. The next morning, Emma opened her email to find Lucas's reply. Her chest tightened as she clicked it open. Inside was a short message. "Emma, your video made me smile so wide I almost cried. I felt like I was with you beneath the oak tree again. Thank you for giving me a piece of home. I miss you more now, but in a good way. I want to share something too." Attached was a link. Emma clicked it and saw a clip of Lucas in his apartment. He held up her drawing and stood beside a small plant he had grown, a baby sapling from the same oak tree, said, "I planted. This for you, it will grow strong, like our friendship." Emma gasped with joy. Tears filled her eyes. She felt the distance melt away. On her screen, Lucas smiled at her, and in that moment, she saw hope itself. She realized that even oceans apart they could share their lives. She could send videos, he could send plants. They could find ways to keep each other close, Emma whispered to the empty room. We did it. She felt proud of their human spirit, brave, creative, and unbroken. All day, Emma carried that hope with her. At school, she told her friends she watched a video from Lucas. She felt excited, not sad. She planned to film more messages and learn new ways to connect. She thought of the years ahead of school projects, birthdays, and late-night talks. She knew they would face challenges, but she also knew they had the strength to overcome them. Humanity had crossed deserts and built cities on the moon. They could cross time zones and build a friendship that no distance could break. Emma smiled, feeling her heart full of hope and her soul ready for any adventure that lay ahead. Lucas woke before dawn, the sky still stretching in deep blue above his window. He held the small oak sapling in his hands, its leaves trembling like tiny green flags. He thought of Emma, of her bright smile when she saw the plant in his video. A soft ache filled his chest. He missed her voice, her laughter, her steady presence. Yet under that ache, a warm glow of hope glimmered. He had sent her a piece of their old home. Oh, he wanted to send something that would let her feel closer even when morning light shone on different lands. He set the sapling on his desk beside his laptop and shut his eyes. He pictured Emma reading his message the night before. He saw her drop of joy rising in her cheeks, the way her eyes lit up with gentle surprise. He felt proud that he had found a way to bridge the miles. If a tiny plant could carry his friendship, what else could he do? He remembered how people once built libraries to share stories across time and space. He thought of paper cranes sent by kind strangers, of letters carried by ships and planes. He could do the same. He could write a story for her. Lucas opened his notebook and began to write. He wrote in simple sentences, telling a new tale of two friends separated by distance. In his story, they built a castle out of words and painted it with memories. Each chapter carried a promise. I will listen to you, I will laugh with you, and I will find you in every star. Lucas paused and read his draft. His handwriting sketched long lines of hope across the page. He smiled as he added, a final line. No matter where life takes us, I will look for you in every sunrise. After breakfast, Lucas turned his story into a digital book. He scanned each page, creating clear images of his words on the screen. He added simple illustrations. Two figures reaching across a map, hands almost touching. A bridge of stars arching between two distant planets. He chose a soft melody to play in the background, a tune that felt like morning light. With careful effort, he stitched the pages and music into a single file. When it was ready, he packed the oak sapling into a box with protective padding. He wrote a note, for EMA, this story carry my heart to you. At the post office, Lucas felt a flutter of nerves. He handed the box and the digital book link to the clerk. He watched as the clerk placed the parcel on the conveyor. He pressed both his hands together, whispering a small prayer. May she feel me there. The box began its journey across oceans and mountains, and Lucas felt the miles shrink a little. He returned home and sat at his desk. He opened his email and searched for Emma's address. His finger hovered over the send button, took a deep breath and clicked. The hours of waiting stretched long. Lucas tried to study for school, but his mind wandered back to Emma. He imagined her opening the box, reading his story by lamplight. He pictured her tracing the illustrations, hearing the melody hum in her ears. He thought about the courage it took to share one's heart. He felt that same courage growing in himself, human strength born of connection and care. Late that night, as the city lights blinked outside his window, Lucas fell asleep dreaming of the journey his gift would make. He saw it ride on waves and fly through clouds until it reached Emma's hands. In his dream, she read his words and looked up at the sky, her eyes soft with hope. She whispered, I feel you here. Lucas smiled in his sleep, his heart light. Early the next morning, Lucas awoke to an email notification. Emma had replied. His chest tightened as he opened her message. She wrote that the box had arrived safely. She loved the story, the melody, and the sapling. She said she read his book by her bedroom window and painted new leaves on the oak tree, drawing so the two would grow side by side. She ended her note with a question. What will we share next? Lucas's heart soared. He closed his eyes and held his sapling. He whispered, we will share everything. He felt the strength of the human spirit and that promise to friends, choosing hope over distance, creativity over silence. He understood that no matter how far apart they were, they could build bridges of words, music, and life itself. In that moment, Lucas felt truly connected. He raised his sapling toward the ceiling, as if showing it to the stars. He imagined Emma doing the same on her side of the world. In the soft light of morning, they stood together, two friends linked by memory, by song, and by choice. And in that unity, Lucas found peace and a steadfast hope that distance could never break their bond. Emma awoke to a bright morning light filtering through her curtains. Her heart fluttered when she remembered the package she had received the night before. She hurried to the shelf and found the small box Lucas had sent. Inside was the young oak sapling nestled in soft wrapping and a digital book link. Emma lifted the sapling gently, feeling its tiny leaves brush her skin. A warm smile spread across her face. She felt Lucas's care in every delayed heartbeat of the plant. Even though he was thousands of miles away, he had sent her a living friend. Emma set the sapling in a pot by her bedroom window. She poured water into the soil and whispered, "Grow strong, like our friendship." Then she opened her laptop and clicked the link to Lucas's storybook. As the pages flicked on the screen, she heard the soft melody he chose. She read his words. Two friends separated by distance but linked by hope. Her chest tightened. She felt tears, but they were bright with happiness. Lucas had found yet another way to reach her heart. After breakfast, Emma considered what she could share next. She thought about the moments they once spent together, searching for fallen stars in the meadow, collecting smooth stones by the creek, and talking under the oak tree into the night. She pulled out her art supplies and began to work. She decided to paint the night sky they both loved. On a large canvas, she sketched deep blue fields of stars. In the center, she painted two bright constellations shaped like hands, reaching out, almost touching. Around them, she added swirls of color pinks, purples, and yellows, representing joy, memories, and dreams. As she painted each brushstroke, Emma whispered to herself, "We are never truly apart." She thought of how humans had once sent messages across oceans by rocket and radio. Now she used paint and paper. Her hands moved with steady purpose, guided by her hope. When the painting was complete, the sky glowed on the canvas. The hands hovered inches apart, a silent promise that they would meet again. Emma took a photograph of the painting and sent it to Lucas with a simple message. "For you, so you know I'm under the same sky." And she wrote a longer letter. She told him how the sapling reminded her of growth and resilience. She shared her painting process, how each color held a memory of their time together. She admitted she sometimes felt sad, but that creating art made her feel close to him again. She closed the letter with, "I will wait under our stars until you visit again." With a hopeful heart, she pressed send. Over the next days, Emma cared for the oak sapling. She watched new leaves unfurl, feeling them as small victories. She placed the painting above her desk where its hands reached toward the sky. Each time she looked at it, she felt Lucas at her side. She practiced patience, watering the plant and polishing her painting. She knew that patience was part of hope. Just as the sapling would grow slowly, their friendship would strengthen over time, even without daily calls. One evening, her phone chimed. It was a message from Lucas. "I saw your painting. It made me feel closer to you than ever. Thank you for sharing your art under our sky. I want to share something too." Attached was a video link. Emma clicked it and saw Lucas in his apartment, holding up her painting on his screen. Behind him, she could glimpse the tall city buildings through his window. He smiled and said, "When I look at this, I know the same stars shine above us. I feel you here with me." Emma's chest swelled with warmth. She felt tears of joy and hope. That night, Emma lay in bed, her hands hugging the blanket. She thought about how they had turned distance into creativity. Each gift they sent drawings, videos, plants, stories, paintings built a bridge between their worlds. She realized that hope was not passive. It was action, creativity, and care. She felt proud of herself and of Lucas. Their friendship was alive. It's growing like the sapling and shining like the stars. In the calm darkness, Emma whispered to the ceiling, "We will see each other again." She pictured the day they would stand beneath the oak tree, holding hands and laughing. Until then, she had her art, the sapling, and Lucas's love. In her heart, she carried the human spirit, persistent and full of hope. And with that spirit, she slept soundly, knowing that distance was only a challenge to overcome, never a wall to keep them apart. Lucas sat at his desk, the soft glow of his lamp lighting up his notebook. He held a small wooden box Emma had sent, the one with her painting reproduced on the lid. His chest felt tight as he remembered her words. "I will wait under our stars until you visit again." He missed her laugh and her warmth. He wanted to send her something that spoke of his heart. He thought of music. He remembered how they used to dance barefoot on the lawn, Emma humming a tune as Lucas tapped out a beat on an old tin can. Music had once carried their joy into the night. Lucas smiled at the memory. If art and stories could bridge the distance, perhaps a song could carry his feelings to Emma's world. The next morning, Lucas set up his keyboard on the small table by his window. He opened his music software and pressed record. His fingers hovered before the keys. He closed his eyes and thought of Emma's smile, her bright eyes beneath the oak tree. He struck the first note, a simple, gentle melody that rose and fell like a bird taking flight. As he played, Lucas poured his hope into the tune. I added soft chords that echoed longing and light. He hummed a wordless line, letting his voice carry emotion. He played again and again, refining each phrase. He whispered to himself, "Let this reach her heart." The song became his message, a gift of melody and memory. When the song was ready, Lucas exported the file and burned it onto a small USB drive. He placed the drive into the wooden box and added a note. In neat handwriting, he wrote, "For Emma, let this melody carry my thoughts to you." He sealed the box and felt a flutter of courage. He had sent stories, drawings, and a sapling. Now he would send his own music. At the post office, Lucas handed over the box once more. He watched it slide along the conveyor belt, headed toward Emma's home. He imagined her opening the lid, finding the glowing drive in his note. He hoped she would play the song and hear his voice singing across the miles. He felt proud of his effort, knowing human creativity overcame distance. That evening, Lucas replayed his song on his speakers. He closed his eyes and pictured Emma listening in her room, the same night sky above her. In his mind, their worlds overlapped in that shared moment. He felt a spark of joy and calm. He knew he had done all he could. Now he waited with hope. Days passed slowly. Lucas focused on his studies, but kept coming back to his music. He hummed the tune under his breath during class and scribbled new melodies in his notebook. He thought about how humans once sang on ships bound for far lands and how singers performed. Across radio waves to distant listeners, he felt connected to that tradition of art bringing people together. One afternoon, Lucas returned home and found an email from Emma. His heart pounded as he opened it. She had written, "Lucas, I got your package today. The melody's beautiful. I played it as I watered the sapling Emma's painting watches over. When your song reached my ears, I felt you singing right beside me." She attached a short voice message, heard gently singing along to his tune. Tears filled Lucas's eyes. He listened to her voice blending with his melody. He felt warmth flood his chest. Her song carried back to him like a gentle current. In that moment, he realized that. Their friendship thrived on shared creativity. Excuse stories, drawings, plants, paintings, songs built a bridge stronger than any ocean. Lucas replied with a message, "Your voice is my joy. Thank you for sharing your song with me." He promised to write more music, and she promised to paint each new leaf on the oak sapling. They made plans to send letters, videos, and recordings back and forth. Their dialogue became a dance of art, each step closing the distance. That night, Lucas sat back at his keyboard and began composing again. He smiled as the notes formed under his fingers. He thought of Emma sitting under her sky listening. He felt the power of the human spirit, the drive to create, to connect, to hope. He knew that no matter where they lived, they could reach each other through their art. As Lucas played the opening bars of his new melody, he whispered into the empty room, "For Emma, always." He felt contentment and anticipation. He waited for the day they would meet again, but until then, he would send his songs like birds carrying messages on the wind. In his music, he found both strength and hope, and he knew Emma would feel it too. Emma sat at her desk, the wooden box that held Lucas's song beside her lamp. She pressed play on her computer and leaned back. His melody filled the room like sunlight breaking through clouds. She closed her eyes and let each note wash over her, feeling Lucas's spirit travel across the miles. As the last chord faded, Emma felt a deep calm hug her heart. She knew their friendship had grown into something unbreakable. She smiled and looked at the sapling by her window. Its new leaves stretched toward the sky. Emma whispered to it, "Grow strong, just like our bond." Then she opened her art book and began to write. She decided to write a poem so Lucas could read it whenever he missed her voice. She wrote in simple lines, "Across the stars our friendship flies, a thread of light in distant skies. No ocean wide, no mountain tall, can dim the hope that binds us all." Emma read the lines aloud. She liked how the words felt soft yet strong. She added a few simple drawings, a star with two hearts at its center, a paper airplane flying between them. She saved the poem and drawings as a PDF file. Then she wrote Lucas an email. "Your song reached me like a warm hug. Here is a poem for you or hope, in words and pictures. I can't wait until we meet again." After she sent the email, Emma felt a spark of excitement. She pictured Lucas reading her poem and smiling. She imagined him printing the page and hanging it on his wall beside her painting. She thought of how each gift they shared created a map of their friendship, with each word, note, and drawing as a stepping stone across the world. That afternoon, Emma went outside with her sketchbook. She sat under the oak tree where they had carved their initials. She ran her hand over the carving E+L inside a heart. She traced the letters gently, then looked up at the branches reaching into the sky. She drew the tree, strong and tall, and beneath it, two small figures reaching for each other. She felt Lucas there with her. The tree held their memories, and now it held new ones too. A soft breeze rustled the leaves, and Emma smiled. She thought of how people once used wind to carry messages across deserts and seas. She felt proud to use her own creativity to send messages of love and hope. She closed her sketchbook and headed home, her heart light. That evening, Emma's phone buzzed. A message from Lucas appeared. "Emma, your poem moved me to tears of joy. I printed it and put it on my door so I see it every morning. I have an idea. Let's meet next summer under our oak tree. I will book a flight, and we will share a week of stories, music, and art." Emma read the words again. Her chest swelled with happiness. They would meet again. After so many small gifts, they would stand together once more. She replied quickly, "Yes, I will save every day until then. Under our tree, we will laugh and create new memories." Emma felt tears of joy. She closed her eyes and pictured Lucas's plane landing. She imagined his head popping out into the sunshine and him waving at her. She saw herself running forward, hugging him tight. The world felt wide, full of possibility. Over the next weeks, Emma helped her parents plan for Lucas's visit. She cleaned her room, picked out her favorite books to share, and practiced the poem she would read aloud when he arrived. At school, she painted bird and firefly on her notebook cover, symbols of their friendship. Each day, she felt the thrill of waiting, like a star preparing to shine. Finally, the day came. Emma stood under the oak tree, her heart fluttering. She heard footsteps on the path. She looked up and saw Lucas walking toward her, his suitcase in one hand and a wide grin on his face. His hair glowed in the late afternoon sun. Emma broke into a run and leaped into his arms. They laughed as they hugged, feeling the years melt away in that single moment. They pulled back and looked at each other. Lucas held out a small box. "For you," he said. "I brought seeds from the sapling I grew from your plant." Opened it and found acorns ready for planting. She held one in her palm, closing her fingers around it. "We will grow a new oak," she said softly. "A tree for us." Lucas nodded. "A living bridge between us," he agreed, "under the familiar branches." Yes. They sat on the grass and shared stories of their time apart. They read Emma's poem together, played Lucas's song softly on a small speaker, and sketched new pictures in Emma's sketchbook. The sun set behind them, painting the sky in pink and gold. In that peaceful moment, they realized how human spirit, bright with creativity, caring, and hope, had carried them across every distance. Together, they planted the acorns at the trees' base, promising to tend them as they tended their friendship. And as the stars appeared overhead, Emma and Lucas sat hand in hand, the oak tree standing tall above them. They knew that no matter where life would take them next, they would always find their way back to each other. Their HFY, spirit bold, inventive, and full of hope, had bridged the world and would guide them forward, always.